Jane Bhaviniho Vishaya Chariya Kabe Shurave Man Kabe Hama Heravo Shri Vrindavan Vishaya Chariya Kabe Shurave Man Kabe Hama Heravo Shri Vrindavana Gauranga Lite Habe Pulaka Sharira Hari Hari Bolite Nae Jane Bhaviniro Gauranga Bolite Habe Pulaka Sharira Hare Hare Bolite Nae Jane Bhaviniro Rupa Raghunatha Pade Haibe Akuti Kabe Hama Bujabose Yugala Piriti Rupa Raghunatha Pade Hoibe Akuti Kabe Hama Ujabose Yugala Piriti Gauranga Bolite Habe Pulaka Sharira Hari Hari Bolite Nae Jane Bhaviniro Gauranga Bolite Habe Pulaka Sharira Hari Hari Bolite Nae Rupa Raghunatha Pade Rahumora Asha Pratana Karoye Sada Narothamadasa Rupa Raghunatha Pade Rahumora Asha Pratana Karoye Sada Narothamadasa Gauranga Bolite Habe Pulaka Sharira Hari Hari Bolite Nae Jane Bhaviniro Gauranga Bolite Habe Pulaka Sharira Hari Hari Bolite Nae Jane Bhaviniro Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, different tune. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Bolo. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Narottam Das Thakur ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Go Premanandi, Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvasesha Sanyavadi Pastachade Shatarine. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Beta Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Beta Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, Chapter 2. I think it's 59 or 58. Which is it? 59. And there's not many purports in this section of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, so we might be reading a few verses here. E shloka tattva lakshana bhagavata sar. E shloka tattva lakshan bhagavata sar. Paribhasha rupe ihara savatradikar. Paribhasha rupe ihar savatradikar. E shloka tattva lakshan bhagavata sar. Paribhasha rupe ihara savatradikar. E shloka tattva lakshan bhagavata sar. Paribhasha rupe ihara savatradikara. E shloka tattva lakshan bhagavata sar. Paribhasha rupe ihara savatradikara.
Shloka tattva lakshan bhagavata sara. Paribhasha rupe hiyar sarvatradika. Shloka tattva lakshan bhagavata sara. Paribhasha rupe hiyar sarvatradika. Shloka tattva lakshan bhagavata sar. Shloka tattva lakshan bhagavata sar. Paribhasha rupe ihar sarvatradika. Paribhasha rupe ihar sarvatradika.
Ladies.
Shloka tattva lakshan bhagavata sar.
Shloka tattva lakshan bhagavata sar.
Paribhasha rupe iha sarvatradika.
Paribhasha rupe ihar sarvatradika. Shloka tattva lakshan bhagavata sar. Paribhasha rupe ihar sarvatradika.
A. This. You can repeat the French also if you wish. Shloka, verse. Tattva, the truth. Lakshana, indicating. Bhagavata, of Srimad Bhagavatam. Sara, the essence. Paribhasha, of synonyms. Rupe, in the form. Ihara, of this Srimad Bhagavatam. Sarvatra, everywhere. Adhikara. Sorry, I missed the word. Everywhere? What was it in French? Adhikara. Jurisdiction. Translation, no purport. The truth indicated in this verse is the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. This conclusion, through synonyms, applies everywhere.
Traduction sans teneur et portée. La vérité qu'énonce ce verset, il s'agit du verset 30 de ce chapitre, forme l'essence du Srimad Bhagavatam. Et cette conclusion, par transposition multiple, est valable partout.
And this is referring to, maybe you translated, I don't know, is referring to a particular verse in this chapter.
Et donc ce verset, il parle d'un autre verset spécifique de ce chapitre.
We're on chapter 2 of the Chaitanya Charitamrita.
On est dans le chapitre 2 ici du Chaitanya
And
Charitamrita.
one of the primary aspects of this chapter is to establish that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is indeed himself the source of everything.
Et le principal aspect de ce chapitre, c'est d'établir Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comme l'essence de toute chose.
He's not an avatar as we normally refer to the word avatar, meaning one who comes from, enters into, like that.
Donc il n'est pas un avatar, on entend par le mot avatar quelqu'un qui émane d'un autre.
He's the source of all the avatars.
Mais lui, il est la source de tous les avatars.
And this verse which is mentioned here, text 30, doesn't directly infer this, but it's concluded in this chapter that that personality, who is known as the source of everything, is indeed none other than Lord Chaitanya.
Et le verset qui est mentionné ici, c'est-à-dire le verset 30, il ne dit pas directement, mais c'est quand même clair qu'il définit Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comme la source de tout.
So we'll go back to text number 30 of this chapter.
Donc on va retourner au verset 30 de ce chapitre.
And in text number 30, it is a verse spoken by Lord Brahma.
Et ce verset 30, c'est un verset qui est récité par le Seigneur Brahma.
The 14th chapter of the 10th canto
Dans le 14e chapitre du 10e chant.
is interesting. Prabhupada concluded his, let's say, translations and commentaries on chapter 13.
C'est intéressant, Srila Prabhupada il a ajouté ses commentaires et traductions au chapitre 13.
And it didn't translate and comment on, except for in the Krishna book, of course, chapter 14.
Et il n'a pas traduit ni commenté le chapitre 14, à part bien sûr dans le livre de Krishna.
But we find many of the verses of chapter 14 throughout the other literatures, throughout the Chaitanya Charitamrita, or quoted in many places by Srila Prabhupada.
Mais par contre, on trouve dans beaucoup d'endroits dans le Chaitanya Charitamrita, dans d'autres écritures, on trouve ces versets du chapitre 14, commentés par Srila Prabhupada.
And it's interesting to note that here, in this particular verse, in the second chapter, I guess it's Krishnadas Kaviraj Maharaj is speaking, or quoting, let's say, is the essence of Srimad, the truth, let's say, is indicated in this verse as the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Et donc là, c'est Krishnadas Kaviraj qui explique et il montre que ce verset, c'est l'essence du Srimad Bhagavatam.
And in this verse, the word is paribhasa.
Dans ce verset, le mot c'est paribhasa.
Sara means the essence. Huh?
Ça veut dire l'essence.
And the paribhasa, in literal translation, synonyms.
Et la traduction littérale de ce mot paribhasa, c'est synonyme.
In other words, the essence, this verse contains the essence of the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the essential meaning of this verse. So let's hear that verse, which is containing or indicating the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. Indicating.
Donc lisons ce verset qui indique l'essence du Srimad Bhagavatam.
Text 30. I'll just read the English. Have you got it there, text 30?
Yeah.
Okay. O Lord of Lords, this is Lord Brahma speaking. He has just offended the Lord in a very, very severe way.
Donc là, c'est le Seigneur Brahma qui parle et il vient juste de commettre une grosse offense.
Many of us are familiar with this story of how Lord Brahma, what did he do? He tried to steal the calves and the cowherd boys, right? He tried.
On sait plus ou moins tous cette histoire. Qu'est-ce qu'il a fait, le Seigneur Brahma? Il a volé les veaux et les pâtres. Du moins, il a essayé de les voler.
Now, he is our Parama Guru,
Le Seigneur Brahma, c'est notre Param Guru.
Lord Brahma. In our disciplic succession, we're in the Brahma. Excuse me?
No. Sampradaya.
Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya, Sampadaya. Well done. And he's the head of the Sampadaya, right?
Le Seigneur Brahma, c'est lui la tête de notre Sampradaya.
And here he is. He appears to be behaving very mischievously.
Et le voilà qui semble se comporter de façon assez étrange.
We may not see it quite the same way. We're still in a mischievous state of consciousness ourselves.
Et nous, on le perçoit peut-être pas correctement parce qu'on est encore dans un mauvais état d'âme.
We're also trying to steal Krishna's calves and coward boys,
Et on essaie aussi de voler les pâtres et les veaux.
or his coward girls,
Ou ses vachères.
right? In the material world, we're all playing that game, right?
Dans ce monde matériel, on joue tous à ce jeu.
We think we've got it.
On pense qu'on a tout.
Whether it's knowledge, whether it's beauty, whether it's renunciation, fame, whatever it is.
Que ce soit la beauté, la reconnaissance,
It's mine. I am this and I am that. And this is mine.
On pense que tout est à nous, ça c'est à moi, ça c'est à moi.
So when we hear this pastime of Lord Brahma, Krishna arranges everything.
Et c'est Krishna qui organise tout. Donc,
And
on entend ce divertissement du Seigneur.
in this particular pastime, if we read deeply, even in Srila Prabhupada's purports, the previous chapter, but particularly in Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, one will see some hidden reasons behind this pastime.
Mais en fait, si on analyse profondément ce divertissement à travers les teneurs et portées de Srila Prabhupada, mais aussi les commentaires de Vishnu.
Of course, it's obvious, isn't it? It's obvious. If our Paramaguru, Lord Brahma, can deviate like this, then what do you expect about me? I mean, come on. He's our Paramaguru. Jai, I know you'd be on board with that one. Anything goes, huh? Well, of course, there's a little more to it than that. You can see there how Lord Brahma, after he'd witnessed the amazing pastime, what pastime took place before this one? Before the stealing of the calves and the coward boys? Pardon? Aghasura, the great sinful demon, in the form of a huge python-like snake, a huge creature, massive. We cannot imagine.
Juste avant ce divertissement, il y a eu le divertissement avec Aghasura, qui est un démon qui s'est présenté sous la forme d'un énorme serpent.
We've only seen this in these kind of movies. Sometimes they have these maybe animated movies or whatever it is. They do things. They imitate these pastimes of Krishna in many of these movies.
On voit ça que dans les films, et d'ailleurs dans beaucoup de films, ils imitent un peu les divertissements de Krishna.
So Lord Brahma was astonished to see the wonderful power of Krishna and his pastimes.
Donc, le Seigneur Brahma, il était perplexe de voir la merveille des divertissements de Krishna.
So then he thought, let me do something even more wonderful, so that Krishna performs even more wonderful. No, let me do something which will make Krishna perform even more wonderful pastimes.
Alors il s'est dit, laissez-moi faire quelque chose de merveilleux pour que Krishna ait faire quelque chose d'encore plus merveilleux.
Now, of course, Lord Brahma is known by most people as one of the three controllers or the three great personalities of the universe.
Alors, bien sûr,
He's the creator, known as.
Bien sûr, Brahma, on sait que c'est une des trois plus grandes personnalités de l'univers, c'est lui le créateur.
A very powerful person. Some people, not many, but some people worship him like the supreme.
C'est quelqu'un de très puissant, d'ailleurs, il y a beaucoup de personnes qui
He's
l'adorent
an
comme le
avatar. He's a guna avatar.
Il est un guna avatar.
He's empowered. The potency of the Lord works through him. So in that sense, Krishna is present there too.
Il est mis en pouvoir, c'est l'énergie du Seigneur qui vient
Creative,
à travers lui, donc Krishna
in
est
his
présent en lui.
creative capacity,
Donc sa puissance
But-
de création.
he's behaving like a completely illusioned person
Mais pourtant, il se comporte
to the extreme.
il est complètement dans l'illusion, à l'extrême.
He's supposed to be the guru.
Et pourtant, il est censé être le gourou.
He's the most qualified person to take the post of creator, huh?
C'est lui qui a le plus de
Isn't it?
qualifications pour être au poste de créateur.
We hear the most qualified personality is given the role of Lord Brahma.
C'est la personne qui a le plus de qualifications
What an
pour
example.
le poste de Brahma. Et quel exemple il donne?
What an example. Stealing away Krishna's calves and coward boys.
Il vole les vaches, les pâtres de Krishna.
So, but this is, you could say, the desire, everything's the desire of the Lord in one sense, but this is directly the desire of the Lord to manifest wonderful pastimes.
En fait, c'est directement le désir du Seigneur. Bien sûr, tout est le désir de la volonté du Seigneur, mais ça, c'est directement pour manifester ses divertissements.
So that when we hear these wonderful pastimes, we can get a little bit released from our tendency to imitate these pastimes. Huh?
C'est pour que nous, en entendant ces divertissements, on soit un petit peu libérés de notre tendance à imiter ces divertissements.
Everyone thinks we don't literally think like that, but we're all behaving as if we're Lord Brahma.
En fait, on se comporte tous comme si on était vraiment.
The center of everything, I am the greatest, and the enjoyer.
C'est moi le plus.
I'm the doer.
C'est moi,
I'm the proprietor. I'm the most intelligent person.
c'est moi qui dois prendre plaisir, c'est moi qui possède, c'est moi qui contrôle, je suis la meilleure des personnes.
And no one else agrees with us, but maybe a few people. We tend to think in these directions sometimes.
Bien sûr, personne d'autre pense pareil que nous, mais on aime bien penser.
Now, this chapter deals with understanding and realizing that, Lord, everything emanates ultimately from, we hear in this chapter, Lord Chaitanya, but from Lord Narayan, from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's the source of everything, they say.
Donc, ce chapitre est là pour nous enseigner que tout ultimement émane de Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, mais bien sûr aussi de Narayana.
And if we read, and it's further explained in this chapter, how from Lord Narayan, you can say, the Purusha avatars come, and then there are different aspects, the super soul in the heart, and so on and so forth. Everything is described there a little later in this chapter.
Et donc de Narayana, on a les émanations plénières, les énergies, bien sûr, tout émane de lui et c'est décrit plus en détail dans le reste du chapitre.
Now, we've been reading the 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita.
Donc on lisait le 13e chapitre de la Bhagavad Gita.
And what is the 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita called?
Comment s'appelle ce chapitre?
Pardon? No, it's number 14, isn't it? Pardon?
Nature and enjoyment.
Yes, nature, enjoyer, and consciousness. Sounds a bit technical, doesn't it? It is a bit technical.
Donc ce chapitre 13, il est assez technique, ça parle de la nature, du jouisseur et de...
One of those chapters we may jump over a little bit.
C'est un des chapitres qu'on aurait tendance à sauter.
But there you find every single word is significant, but there's one verse in that chapter which really, you could say, puts the light on everything else.
Et il y a beaucoup de choses qu'on pourrait prendre dans ce chapitre, mais il y a un verset en particulier qui, dans un sens, met la lumière sur tout le reste.
And it's the secret of realization.
Et c'est un secret de la réalisation.
Because if we realize Prakriti means material nature in this case, we realize Prakriti.
Parce qu'on réalise Prakriti, Prakriti c'est la nature matérielle dans ce cas-là.
You can also refer to either the para or the apara, the supreme or the superior or the inferior natures. That means the living entity or the material energy, either one.
Ça peut aussi faire référence soit à para ou apara, c'est-à-dire l'énergie matérielle ou spirituelle, l'une ou l'autre.
But generally the living entity is known as Kshetragu, which means the knower of the material energy or this particular body or the enjoyer of this body.
Mais en général, l'être vivant il est connu sous le nom de Kshetranga, c'est-à-dire celui qui connaît l'énergie matérielle ou en l'occurrence celui qui connaît le corps particulier dans lequel il est.
There's another enjoyer in this body.
Il y a un autre jouisseur dans ce corps.
Enjoyer, but not enjoyer of the body, but another proprietor, another entity within this body.
Ou plutôt, on va dire un autre propriétaire, une autre entité dans ce corps.
That's the super soul. This is explained in the 13th chapter Bhagavad Gita, very little detail.
Et ça, c'est l'âme suprême, et c'est ça qui est expliqué dans la Bhagavad Gita.
And then the difference between Prakriti and the Kshetragya, or the knower of the field. Kshetra is also, and the Kshetra means field. Kurukshetra, the field of the Kurus. Kurukshetra. Kshetra means field. So this body is considered like a field.
Et après, ce chapitre, il explique la différence entre le corps et l'être vivant. Le corps, on l'appelle kshetra, ça veut dire le champ.
And in one sense, you say we're like a farmer, and we know the field. We're supposed to know the field of the body. Kshetragya means knower, jnana, of the kshetra or the field. We're supposed to know our field.
Et dans un sens, on doit être comme des agriculteurs, on doit connaître notre champ. Le champ de notre corps.
Although we don't really know it, we know something about it.
On ne le connaît pas vraiment, mais on en sait quelque chose.
I don't know much about your body.
Mais moi, je ne sais pas beaucoup
Only what I
votre
see.
corps, à part ce que je vois.
I'm not conscious of your body, so there's another factor comes in.
Je ne suis pas conscient de votre corps, donc ça veut dire qu'il y a encore un autre aspect.
I'm conscious to a certain extent, but not to the same extent that you are, or you to me. Very different.
Je suis conscient jusqu'à un certain point, mais je ne suis pas conscient de vous, donc ce n'est pas la même conscience.
I might see that you're this color or that shape, or you look like you're suffering, or you look like you're happy. I can see something.
Donc je vois quelque chose, je vois la forme de votre corps, la couleur, je vois si vous souffrez, si vous êtes heureux, on voit quelque chose.
It's not difficult to understand. The body itself is not conscious. It's something from which is making conscious, where consciousness comes from. Huh?
Et c'est pas difficile de comprendre le corps en fait, mais il y a autre chose que le corps, il y a la conscience, et c'est ça qu'on doit essayer de comprendre.
So that's the other factor, the living entity, the kshatragya, the living entity, the soul, who's residing in this body.
Donc l'autre facteur, c'est l'être vivant, c'est l'âme qui réside dans ce corps.
Now human life, the kshatrayas in every body, even in an ant, in every single living entity, but in the human life particularly, our kshatraga, or our knower of the body, is not just meant to be based upon eating, sleeping, mating, and defending.
Donc le kshatraga, l'âme, elle est dans toutes les espèces, même dans les fourmis et dans la forme de vie humaine. Le kshatraga, il n'est pas juste censé se limiter à manger, dormir, s'accoupler et se défendre.
The goal, or the human life particularly, is not just meant for kamasya nendriya pratya labo jiveti yavata jivasya tatvijignas nautayas karmibi. It is not only meant for sense gratification.
Mais le but de cette vie humaine, c'est pas seulement le plaisir des sens.
Our knowledge in this world is more or less based around sense gratification, isn't it?
En général, toute la connaissance.
How to get this, huh?
C'est juste comment avoir plus de plaisir des sens, comment obtenir telle ou telle chose.
How to avoid suffering, how to enjoy,
Comment éviter la souffrance, comment prendre du plaisir,
how to satisfy my senses.
comment satisfaire mes sens.
Sometimes we don't even care about how it affects others, even.
Et parfois, on se moque de comment ça affecte les autres.
How to find out what's going on around here.
Comment trouver ce qui se passe ici.
How to make nice halava,
Comment faire du bon halva,
nice samosas,
des bons samosas,
nice bread.
du bon pain.
Right? Right? Yes. Surrendered soul. How to get to the railway station. You're trying to get to the railway. What time's your train?
Train.
10. How's she going to the railway station? Anyone organizing?
It's not yet. I think it's in like a week's time or so.
Oh, a week's time, not today. Okay, you better get cracking if it's today.
Ou alors,
You're already planning. See, you're already planning for a week ahead how to get from here to there. The whole material world is like this. How to get from here, the ant, how to get this sugar from there to here. Everyone's trying to, plan.
dans ce monde, on essaie tous de faire des plans. En fait, tout le problème, c'est comment aller d'ici à là où déplacer telle chose.
But that's not the
endroit. Et ça, c'est pas le but.
sole purpose. You've got to do a certain amount to maintain the body, but that's not the goal of life.
Bien sûr, on doit faire toutes ces choses pour maintenir le corps, mais c'est pas le but de la vie.
Jivasya tadvijignas. The goal of life is what? Inquiry. Yeah, we're already doing that. I just asked how to get to the train station. I got that part right. What type of inquiry? Huh? And the absolute. There are different tattvas. Tattva means truth. There's also related to the material world, isn't there?
Donc le but de la vie, c'est quoi? De s'enquérir. Mais de s'enquérir, on le fait déjà. On demande comment aller à la gare. Mais non, on s'enquiert de la vérité absolue.
Absolute truth.
How to know and love Krishna.
Ultimately, that's what comes in this particular chapter. It comes to that point of the absolute truth ultimately means how to awaken love of Krishna. But in terms of this state, what is the absolute truth? What is it?
Donc la vérité absolue, ultimement, dans ce chapitre, on en vient à...
Does it exist?
Mais ce chapitre, il présente les autres aspects de la vérité absolue, c'est-à-dire essayer de comprendre ce que c'est, est-ce que ça existe, quelles sont ses caractéristiques.
That should be the goal of our lives, to inquire about the absolute truth.
C'est ça le but de notre vie, de s'enquérir de la vérité absolue.
Now, as we may have been hearing, I think in previous Bhagavatam verses, the eligibility or the process of understanding the absolute truth was explained. What is that process?
The nine process?
Pardon?
The nine process of bhakti?
You could summarize it like that. Basically speaking, you could say that. It's the process of devotion, isn't it? Isn't it? Even to realize the absolute truth, Vedanti tatvidas tatvijagyanam brahmeti paramatmeti Bhagavan iti shabdyate. The absolute truth is known in various features.
les différents aspects de la vérité absolue, et on en a parlé dans les précédents versets du Srimad Bhagavatam, et on pourrait résumer ça par exemple par le processus du service de dévotion.
Learned transcendentalists know the absolute truth in 3 features. As Brahman, spirit. That means everything's spirit. Brahman and Paramatma. Super soul in the heart. The other, overseer, the permitter, the witness, the guide. Super soul. He's present in everyone's body.
Ceux qui connaissent la vérité absolue la décrivent en 3 aspects. Il y a Paramatma, Paramatma et Bhagavan.
How many suns are there in the universe? They say it differently, but according to the Vedic understanding, how many suns? Scientists may say something different. But the Vedic answer is what? How many suns?
1.
1 sun. 1. And so, 1 sun. But it seems like the sun is everywhere, doesn't it? Pretty much. There's some covered areas, right? Back of the earth when there's whatever. But the sun is everywhere. Sun is shining here. I guess it's shining in America, North America. Does it shine?
Not here.
North America, it shines over there too? Same sun or a different one? Same one, you sure?
I've seen them both, they are the same.
They are the same. You actually checked it out, did you? You had to walk to the sun to make sure it's the same one?
I tried to fly.
Fly to the... I think one day you... If anyone can fly, you can. Nothing is impossible. Everyone understands it's the same sun that's on the moon, on the earth, in the ether, whatever it is, the sun. Huh? The rays of the sun are going everywhere. That's like Brahman. Come on.
Selon la conclusion védique, les scientifiques disent autre chose, mais il y a un seul soleil, mais il est présent, on dirait qu'il est partout, on dirait qu'il y en a plusieurs, mais c'est le même partout, et il s'émane partout où on va voir le soleil, et c'est bien une seule et même entité.
Everything's Krishna's energy, huh?
Ça, c'est comme l'énergie de Krishna.
And it's just like we see that, like when we say, oh, the sun's not shining. Well, the sun is shining. You say, oh, the sun's not shining. Today it's shining. But you might say, the sun's not shining today, right? You sometimes, in English, we sometimes say that. I don't know if you do in French or not.
Et donc des fois on va dire, oh, le soleil ne brille pas, mais si, il brille. Et nous on dit, il brille pas parce qu'on ne le voit pas.
Or at night, oh, there's no sun.
Ou la nuit on dit, il n'y a pas de soleil.
Of course, the sun is there, but we can't see it. We're covered.
Bien sûr, le soleil il est là, mais nous on ne le voit pas parce qu'on est recouvert.
So the material world is kind of like that. It's like the covered section of Brahman.
Donc, le monde matériel, c'est un peu comme ça, c'est comme la portion qui est recouverte, qui est cachée du
So
Brahman.
that's one thing, Brahman. But the Paramatma is the Lord's expansion. In the material, in this dark world, he expands, unseen to us, just like the sun expands, little rays everywhere. He's same person, but expanded in numerous, everywhere in fact. In the heart, the Lord is there. Watching, guiding, witnessing.
Ensuite, on a le Paramatma, qui est l'extension de Krishna, qui, bien qu'on ne le voit pas, il se diffuse comme les rayons du soleil, il se manifeste, il va dans...
So how to understand this? The difference between the soul, the super soul, the material energy, how to understand it?
Alors, comment comprendre la différence entre l'âme suprême et l'énergie matérielle?
It's not just theory. We can theorize, yes, but then we still act in the mood of Lord Brahma.
C'est pas juste une théorie, bien sûr.
In this particular
la théorie est là, mais si c'est juste
pastime.
la théorie, on continue d'agir comme le Seigneur Brahma, dans cet exemple.
Now, how to realize it? The 13th chapter gives a clue.
Donc, comment est-ce qu'on peut réaliser la différence entre les trois?
It describes these various features and the importance of knowing the difference between soul, super soul, the material energy, and what is real knowledge, and so on and so forth. Who is the knower, what is to be known, all this is described. But what is the secret of realization? It's all very well having knowledge, but without realization, we may have a little problem there.
Donc le chapitre 13 nous indique et le secret de comment réaliser tout ça, parce que ça décrit voilà, la nature matérielle, l'âme suprême, l'âme, mais il y a un secret pour pouvoir réaliser ça vraiment.
So what is that? Did anyone have a clue from the 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita?
Donc, est-ce que quelqu'un a une idée dans le chapitre 13 de la Bhagavad Gita?
Amanitvan. What is Amanitvan?
Amanitvan, ça veut dire quoi?
Adambitvan. 2 words are there. Amanitvan. Amanena manadena.
Humility.
Pardon?
Humility.
It refers to humility.
Donc, ça parle de l'humilité, ce mot.
Now, humility is a very broad subject matter, no doubt about that. Maybe interpreted differently in different modes of nature by different individuals.
Et l'humilité, c'est un terme vaste et on peut l'interpréter de différentes façons selon les modes d'influence de la nature dans lesquels on se trouve.
How does Prabhupada, in the purport, how does he describe humility?
Alors, je ne parle pas dans la teneur et portée, comment est-ce qu'il décrit l'humilité?
We'll hear different descriptions. I was reading just a few days ago, a friend of mine, and you must know him quite well, Peter Burwash. We were also, he's a great soul. We were, we didn't see each other. We were very close. We were very close friends. We oftentimes meet. He was a great tennis player, tennis coach, tennis player. He was also another type of coach. He was a life coach. If you know what that is. What is a life coach?
Someone who helps you to live.
Yeah, it sort of helps you to be yourself, to, fulfill your mission in life or something like that. Life coach. So he would sometimes, of course, come to Vrindavan. He gave a seminar one time there. I remember one of his catchphrases is, "What is humility?" You may have read it. It's quoted sometimes here and there. He's probably not the only life coach who says this either. What is humility? Anyone remember hearing it? Said, sometimes we think humility, oh, Prabhu, I'm no good for nothing, I can't do anything, I'm so full and I'm useless, and blah, 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 I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, don't ask me to do anything because I'm this, that and the other. I'm hopeless. Is that humility? Yes, okay. You got difference of opinion here. Oh, don't take it out afterwards. Don't do it now, please. Show your humility after the class, okay?
It can be humility.
She needs to translate.
It's sincere.
Oh yeah, she has to translate, doesn't she? I don't know if she can. That was a difficult one.
Be humble, Mara.
Donc il y avait cette personne.
What's that?
Be humble.
You are telling me to be humble? Who do you think you are? You're just puffed up. We know these North Americans.
But I'm Canadian.
You're even above America, USA. You're even above USA, you people up there.
Canada's on top.
You're on top of the Americans. You're the most puffed of all. Look at you. Yes, indeed. I'm the most humble of them all. Anyway, you get the idea. So what the next line says, okay, then he says, Peter says, well, no, humility is not to think, because you're kind of thinking about yourself all the time, I'm fallen, I'm lonely, I'm hopeless, I'm this, I'm that. Go for it. It's embarrassing, isn't it?
Donc il y avait cette personne, Peter Burwash, tu disais? That the name?
Huh?
Peter Burwash, is that?
Peter Burwash, yeah.
Donc il y avait cette personne, Peter Burwash,
Worship
c'est
Burr.
un joueur de tennis, c'est un coach de tennis aussi, mais c'est aussi un coach de vie. Et il allait à Vrindavan, il faisait des séminaires. Une fois, il a fait un séminaire sur l'humilité.
It's not to think yourself lesser. Not to think yourself lesser. You know this word? Kind of a slang English, I think. Lesser. Not to think yourself lesser. I know, that's one way. That's kind of transcendental. But that's not the point. Not to think yourself lesser, but to think less about yourself.
Et donc il disait, en réponse à cette question, c'est quoi l'humilité? Il a dit, l'humilité, c'est pas de penser moins de soi-même, mais de penser à soi moins.
We can wallow. You know the word wallow? You must know this.
De lamenter,
Like, or was it hippopotamus? Huh? Wallowing in the mud or something. Doesn't stuck in the mud, Wallowing. We're depressed. We want everyone to know about it.
Donc des fois on pense l'humilité,
I got problems. Ah.
c'est de se lamenter, on pense qu'on est bas, qu'on est comme un hippopotame coincé dans la boue, et on veut que tout le monde le sache.
You have problems, you should do something about it. Just let it be. But the most important thing here is that can be sense gratification.
Et ce qui est important à comprendre,
We're just
c'est que ça,
absorbed in
ça a des sens,
our illusion.
parce qu'on est juste absorbé dans notre propre illusion.
So it's just a material one. Prabhupada says a little similar in the Bhagavad Gita, in his commentary.
Et Prabhupada dit quelque chose de similaire dans la Bhagavad Gita, dans son commentaire.
Humility means that we're free from any desire to be praised, recognized, by others around us.
Et Prabhupada dit que l'humilité, c'est qu'on est libre
Pretty
du
heavy,
désir d'être apprécié, d'être glorifié des autres.
Pretty hard, huh?
C'est difficile, hein?
Not an easy one, that. But that's true humility.
Mais ça, c'est la vraie humilité.
So how to awaken? Adambitva means prideless. So they're related to each other. And then other things, non-violence and so on. Many, many characteristics are there. And Krishna says all these are knowledge. The key one, which I mentioned a minute, all this is knowledge, he says.
Et Krishna, il explique que tout ça, c'est la connaissance.
And everything else is ignorance.
Et le reste, c'est l'ignorance.
It's nothing to do with the elements of the material world,
Ça n'a rien à voir avec les éléments
whether it's
matériels.
a big bang or a small bang or a black hole or a white hole or just a hole. It's nothing to do with all that stuff.
C'est pas une histoire de trou noir ou de trou blanc ou de Big Bang ou de petit Bang. Ça n'a rien à voir avec ça.
No. Isn't it amazing? Knowledge, humility. What's it got to do with knowledge?
Mais non, la connaissance, ça n'a rien à voir avec ça. L'humilité, il y a
You
qu'à
don't-
voir avec la connaissance.
You don't equate them so easily in this material world. And maybe humbly. So the key of this verse is also Guru Padashraya, taking shelter of Guru.
Donc la clé de ce verset,
Hearing.
c'est Guru Padashraya, c'est-à-dire de prendre refuge du maître spirituel, d'entendre.
That really, in one, even from our understanding of humility, that takes a bit of humility.
Et même dans notre compréhension de l'humilité, ça prend de l'humilité de faire ça.
You've got to give up your false pride a little bit.
Parce qu'il faut laisser de côté son orgueil.
You've got to accept, I don't know.
Il faut accepter que je ne sais pas.
All that we think, oh. Yeah. Arjuna thought he knew. Right?
Arjuna, il pensait qu'il savait.
Did he know what he was talking about? At the beginning of the Gita, that is.
Au début de la Bhagavad Gita, est-ce qu'il
Did Krishna say, well spoken, Arjuna? Oh, glories to your words, Arjuna.
Et Krishna il dit, oh bravo Arjuna. Tout
What did
droit,
Krishna
bravo.
say? After Arjuna had given pretty much all of his arguments about justifying his behavior, you are a, Prabhupada says in one of his lectures, he said, Krishna says, Arjuna, you are damn fool, number one. Not just a fool, a damn fool. Probably use the word.
Put damn.
Huh?
He said damn.
Damn fool number one.
Yes, we can use it now.
Well, it depends how you use it, Damned is not considered to be a bad word. It's descriptive. It's not an offensive word. It's a descriptive word. So yes, so Arjuna had it wrong. It looked like he had it right from the relative point of view.
Donc Krishna, il n'a pas glorifié Arjuna, il a dit, en fait Arjuna, tu es sot numéro 1. Et quand
Ah, non.
Arjuna, il pensait qu'il savait, il présentait sur un plan relatif, on avait l'impression qu'il savait de quoi il parlait.
And as Maharaj mentioned a couple of days ago, Krishna then went for him. Basically, he gave him the sauce. Huh?
Mais comme Maharaj disait l'autre jour, en fait, après ça, Krishna, il s'est mis sur son cas.
Arjuna, you're not your body, Arjuna.
Il lui a dit, Arjuna, tu n'es pas ton corps.
Arjuna, you're not your body, Arjuna.
Arjuna, tu n'es pas ton corps.
Have you got it? Arjuna, you're not your body.
Est-ce que tu as compris, Arjuna?
Did you hear what I say, Arjuna? You're not your body.
Est-ce que tu as bien entendu? Arjuna, tu n'es pas.
Have you understood, Arjuna? You're not your body.
Est-ce que tu as compris, Arjuna? Tu n'es
Do you understand, Arjuna, that because you think you're the body, you are lamenting?
Est-ce que tu comprends, Arjuna, parce que tu penses que tu es ton corps, tu te lamentes?
Do you understand, Arjuna? The soul, realized soul, does not lament.
Est-ce que tu comprends ça, Arjuna, qu'une âme réalisée ne se lamente pas?
He gives him, straight on, right from the beginning, A, B, C, Gyan, knowledge. You are not this body. And if you realize that, there is no need to lament. Huh? He was saying more or less the same thing 2 days ago, I remember.
Il dit clairement, dès le début,
Again and again. How many verses?
le ABC, il lui dit à Nina, voilà,
17, I think it is. From verse like 12 through to 30 or something like that. 29 or something. You are not your body, Arjuna.
en fait, il y a toute une série
Pretty important to
versets,
remember.
du verset 12 à 30 à peu près, où Krishna il répète juste, voilà, tu n'es pas ton corps. Donc il faut se rappeler de ce point.
And this takes realization. Not theory is good. Everything starts with gyan. But how does vigyan? Vigyan means realizing knowledge. How does that happen?
Et ça demande de réaliser cette connaissance, pas juste d'avoir le gyan, mais le vigyan. Et comment est-ce qu'on va réaliser cette connaissance?
Yes, my guru. Ah, the truth. Oh, I saw the truth. He put his fingers in my eyes and I saw the truth. Easy.
C'est facile en fait, on rencontre un gourou et il nous met ses doigts sur le front, dans les yeux et il nous fait voir la vérité.
Is that the way we see the truth?
Est-ce que c'est comme ça qu'on voit la vérité?
Because Krishna can do anything if he wants.
Bien sûr, Krishna, il peut faire ce qu'il veut.
It's not the normal way.
En général, c'est pas comme ça.
How do we realize the truth?
Comment est-ce qu'on réalise la vérité?
Tadvidi pranipatena.
That's the practical reality of it, isn't it? Bhagavad Gita. Tadvidi pranipatene pariprashnena sevya upadekshanti te yanam tattva darshana. You see the truth. You have to hear from those who've seen the truth. Huh? Serve them, inquire.
Pour voir la vérité, il faut entendre de ceux qui ont vu la vérité.
Even if you're a knowledgeable person, bring Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1.
Lisez le Srimad Bhagavatam, chant 1.
Someone's quick legs.
Quelqu'un qui est rapide.
Our temple presence tired. Working hard. There's a very famous, well, not so famous, Tat Tradadana Manayo. How does the verse go? Gotten the rest of it. We used to know all these verses from the second chapter of the Bhagavatam. Probably you did in Canada too, I would imagine. We used to learn them, speak them every day, whole second chapter. Yes.
On connaissait tous ces versets par cœur du...
In a nutshell, it's the whole process of realization.
Parce qu'en résumé, ce chapitre 2 du Srimad Bhagavatam, c'est un résumé de toute la...
We're here in Chaitanya, don't take the Chaitanya completely away, keep it near my hand. We're hearing the Sara Paribhasa here, the essential verse in CC. That means the essential verse. There's an essential verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. Who knows that? It's brought up later in this chapter. Pardon? Etang? No. That's a different verse. That describes a different aspect. Ete Chanksa Kala Pungsang Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. That's the Paribhasya Sutra. It describes the essential purpose behind the Srimad Bhagavatam. To understand what? Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. It's the same principle as here in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Charitamrita brings in a very special feature, which in a sense is there in the Bhagavatam. Of course it's there fully. But in reality, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how to actually live your life to realize this essential purpose of Shastra.
Donc le verset du Srimad Bhagavatam, l'essence, c'est le verset qui dit Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, mais qu'est-ce qui nous amène à comprendre ce verset? Il veut que l'on comprenne que Krishna est Dieu la personne suprême. Et c'est tellement important ce chapitre dans le chapitre.
So in this chapter 2 of Srimad Bhagavatam, and I advise everyone to read it again and again and again. We've just heard the verse from Sutta Goswami, Vedanti Tattvavidas. We've already quoted that. Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan.
Donc ce chapitre 2 du Srimad Bhagavatam, je vous conseille à tous de le lire, de le relire encore et encore. On vient d'entendre de Shukadev Goswami ce verset. que les transcendantalistes qui connaissent la vérité, ils les comprennent en trois aspects.
And in the next verse, Sutta Goswami says, Tat Shradadana Munayo Jnana Vairagya Yuktaya Pashantyatmani Chatmanam Bhaktya Shuta Grihitaya. He says, this is, I don't know if you haven't got it. The seriously inquisitive student or sage, well equipped with knowledge and detachment. Here.
Okay. L'étudiant qui est vraiment sérieux dans ses questions, ou le sage qui est équipé avec la connaissance et le détachement, il réalise la vérité.
You might need the microphone a bit closer because onliners won't be able to hear. So, they're a sage, they're learned, they're renounced. But how do they realize the absolute truth?
Ce sont les sages, ils sont érudits, ils sont détachés, mais comment est-ce qu'ils réalisent la vérité absolue?
They may know it, theoretically, but how to realize it, that's the secret.
Mais comment la réaliser, ça c'est le secret.
How do they realize it? Realize, it says here, realizes the absolute truth by rendering devotional service.
Il réalise la vérité absolue en pratiquant le service de dévotion.
In terms of what he has heard from the Vedanta Shruti or from authority.
Selon ce qu'il a entendu dans le Vedanta Sutra des autorités.
So this is the process.
Donc c'est ça le processus.
So then we see, we're going to go back a little bit, we could go on and on, but time is up. We go back to the story of Lord Brahma and how he did what he did, or tried to do what he wanted to do. What did he want to do?
You want to do something marvelous to show that Krishna is more marvelous.
That's the deeper aspect. But on the surface, then by the arrangement of the Lord, he's covered. His consciousness is covered. And he forgets his relationship with Krishna. He forgets Krishna's position. And he behaves like a really, someone who's a bit proud. Huh? He becomes proud.
Donc on va retourner à l'histoire de Brahma. Et on pense, voilà, ce qu'il essayait de faire, il voulait les battre, et, parce que Krishna l'a recouvert, l'a mis dans une certaine illusion, et il lui a donné un petit peu d'orgueil pour qu'il oublie sa relation avec Krishna.
Have you ever noticed in our lives, even though we're wrong sometimes, and we eventually realize it, it's so difficult to back off, isn't it? Isn't it? We were talking about that yesterday, right? Regarding the Bhagavad Gita translations and commentaries and so on. It's very hard to back off once you put your nose up there and you get support especially. It's really hard to back down. Really hard.
Est-ce que vous avez déjà remarqué ça dans votre vie, que quand vous pensez que vous avez raison et qu'à un moment donné vous vous rendez compte que vous avez tort, en fait, c'est très difficile de l'admettre, de faire marcher.
Really hard. I mean, even if we realize we're relatively wrong, it's still difficult to back down. That takes humility.
Même si on se rend compte qu'on a un petit peu tort, c'est très difficile de l'admettre, et ça demande.
And that's one of the keys for progress in Krishna consciousness. One of them.
Clé de l'humilité pour progresser dans
That
la conscience.
ability or that willingness, that letting go. Hearing submissively, maybe I was wrong. Please forgive me.
Cette habilité ou cette volonté, ce désir de bien vouloir admettre et d'accepter que voilà, j'ai tort et de le dire.
Now, of course, Lord Brahma realized. Now, there's another aspect here of Lord Brahma. He was proud, just like we may be proud. And he thought, who's this little kid? He's nothing compared to me.
Donc Brahma, il avait de l'orgueil et il a vu Krishna et il a dit, mais c'est qui ce petit garçon? Mais il n'est rien par rapport à moi.
I'm great. My potencies, my opulences, my power is very great.
Je suis grand,
Let me prove it now.
je suis
Listen
grand,
to me. Watch me now. Oh.
Je suis grand, ma puissance, mes opulences sont énormes, regardez-moi.
It was a lot of fun took place after that.
Et après, il s'est passé beaucoup de choses amusantes.
Yes, he made the arrangement. As the calves were grazing in beautiful green grasses, Lord Brahma, a little distance from the cowherd boys, they're enjoying their picnic on the bank of the river Yamuna.
Donc les pâtres avaient été prendre leur pique-nique sur les berges de la Yamuna et les veaux s'étaient un petit peu éloignés, ils étaient dans une belle
Unseen by all, Lord Brahma steals away the calves, puts them into caves.
Et Brahma, ignoré de tous, il a pris les veaux et il les a mis dans les grottes.
Krishna, where have the calves gone? They've disappeared. We can't see them anymore.
Oh Krishna, ils sont où les veaux? On ne les voit plus, ils ont disparu.
Don't worry, I'll bring them all back.
Krishna dit, vous
You
avez-
remain here, enjoy yourself with your picnic. I'll be back in a moment, don't worry.
Ne vous inquiétez
Krishna.
pas, je vais aller les chercher, restez tous là.
Disappears from their vision. Goes off to get the cows, but nowhere can they be found.
Donc Krishna, il s'en va, il va chercher les veaux, mais il
Meanwhile.
ne les trouve nulle part.
Whilst the cat's away, the mice do play. Krishna's away. And Lord Brahma steals all the coward boys, puts them in the caves too.
On sait bien quand le chat s'en va, les souris dansent, et donc pendant que Krishna est parti,
Ah, Krishna
Brahma, il a
comes
pris tous les pâtres et il les a mis
Long
dans les
story.
grottes aussi.
Cut a long story short, Krishna expanded himself as identical forms of calves and coward boys, so no one knew anything happened.
Mais Krishna, il s'est manifesté en toutes les formes des pâtres et des veaux.
Not only that, but another expansion took place
Et pas seulement ça, il y a une autre manifestation qui a pris place.
by the agency, said of Mahamaya, of his energy. Krishna expanded another set of calves and coward boys.
Et par son énergie Mahamaya, Krishna, il a manifesté un autre groupe de pâtres et de veaux.
And they were the ones that Lord Brahma had locked in the caves, not the original ones. They were another expansion.
Et c'est eux aussi, cette manifestation que Brahma il a mis dans les grottes en fait, pas
Yeah.
les originaux.
The original ones were still there. They didn't know anything happened whatsoever. The moment passed, 1 year in a moment.
En fait, les pâtres et les veaux, ils se sont pas rendus compte de ce qui s'est passé. Juste.
When Brahma came back after a moment of his time, boing,
Et un instant
Oui.
du temps de Brahma,
what's going on? They're still here, but they're in the caves. They're here, they're there, they're everywhere. Calves and cows are both here and there.
donc Brahma il est revenu après un
Coward
instant
boys.
de son temps, et là il a vu, mais il dit, mais qu'est-ce qui se passe? Les pâtres ils sont là, mais ils sont dans la grotte, ils sont là, ils sont dans la grotte, ils sont partout en même temps, comment ça se fait?
And then what Krishna did? He showed Brahma. What did he show him?
His form,
Vishnu.
with his forehand.
He showed each and every one of those calves and coward boys, which Brahma was seeing there on the bank of the Yamuna, were none other than a form of Krishna himself, four-armed form. In his case, he revealed that.
Et Krishna, qu'est-ce qu'il a fait? Il a montré à Brahma, toutes ces formes sont devenues sa forme à quatre bras.
Because this is how Brahma sees the Supreme Lord, reverential, the four-armed form, so he showed him that form of himself.
Parce que c'est comme ça que Brahma
Super
il
soul.
voit le Seigneur, il voit avec révérence, donc il voit cette
Boom! And so many other things he showed him, Brahmas from everywhere, Shivas from everywhere. He saw the whole... Mind-blowing.
Et il lui a montré plein d'autres choses, il lui a montré beaucoup d'autres Brahmas, d'autres Shiva, et ça lui a tourné la tête.
Then he surrendered to the Lord.
Et là, il s'est abandonné au Seigneur.
Then he surrendered. And in the 14th chapter, there we find this verse of Lord Brahma
Et donc dans ce 4
in his prayers of humility.
on trouve les prières d'humilité du Seigneur Brahma.
O Lord of Lords! He's come to his senses and he's surrendered, bowing down to this little boy completely. I'm a fool, I'm a nonsense, I'm a rascal. O Lord of Lords, you are the seer of all creation.
Et donc là, Brahma est revenu à ses sens, et là, il récite cette prière. Ô Seigneur des Seigneurs, témoin de toute création,
You are indeed everyone's dearest life.
tu es en chacun le plus cher aspect de la vie.
Are you not therefore my father, Narayan?
Ainsi, n'es-tu pas mon père, Narayan?
Narayan refers to one whose abode is in the water born from Nara.
Ce nom fait référence à celui qui habite les eaux issues de Nara.
And Lord Brahma says this, and that Narayan is your plenary portion.
Et ce Narayan représente ton émanation plénière.
All your plenary portions are transcendental.
Transcendantale, absolue,
They are absolute.
C'est in a different order in French. So.
Okay. They are absolute and are not creations of Maya.
Transcendantal, absolu, tes émanations ne sont pas l'œuvre de Maya.
In a nutshell, he's giving this essential tattva, this essential truth about Krishna, his expansions, that they are ever transcendental to his energies, etc., etc.
Donc juste dans ce verset, Brahma nous donne en résumé la vérité. Il nous dit que toutes les émanations viennent de Krishna, qu'elles sont toutes transcendantales, etc.
And this essential truth, according to the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, isn't it? That one who knows this truth about me does not take birth again, but attains my eternal abode. O Arjuna. Isn't it? That truth that Krishna is transcendental, he's not affected by the modes of nature, he's apart from the jiva yet connected to everything. This inconceivable nature of God.
Et cette vérité, Krishna nous la révèle dans la Bhagavad Gita, dans le chapitre 4. Et il nous dit, si vous connaissez cette vérité sur moi, sur mes activités, que je suis transcendantal, vous ne reprenez plus naissance dans ce monde matériel.
So in this we see Lord Brahma is showing the means also, not just the, you could say, extreme example, interfering with Krishna's pastimes of, trying to imitate God, but he's showing the example of how to actually realize the truth.
Et donc par cette histoire, Brahma il nous montre par son exemple et ce extrême d'interférer avec les divertissements du Seigneur, comment est-ce que nous on peut venir à réaliser la vérité.
This amanitvan, unless this humility begins to awaken in our hearts, everything remains relative. Even the spiritual knowledge remains relative.
Et tant que cette humilité ne se manifeste pas dans notre cœur, tout notre savoir, toute notre théorie, même spirituelle, elle reste.
We'll be like, Gyanis, forever arguing over, points left, right, and center, but not realizing anything.
Et on restera des gyanis à jamais, débattre sur tel point, mais on ne réalisera jamais rien.
And that's why we see in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, when Lord Chaitanya was in Varanasi, with the Mayavadi sannyasis who were wrangling philosophers.
C'est pour ça qu'on voit dans le Chaitanya Charitamrita, quand Chaitanya Mahaprabhu était à Varanasi et débattre avec les philosophes Mayavadi.
Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, through Amanitvan, through humility, he convinced them actually.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, c'est à travers son humilité qu'il les a convaincus.
And he showed what that humility is. Of course, we heard that, my spiritual master called me a fool. I cannot understand this Vedanta. You simply chant Hare Krishna.
Et bien sûr, il a montré par son comportement cette humilité en disant, mon maître spirituel m'a dit que j'étais un imbécile, que je ne pouvais pas comprendre le Vedanta. Il m'a dit, chante juste le Saint.
But it's interesting to note that after that, then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes into quite a philosophical discussion with these sannyasis and defeats their arguments about the absolute truth also.
Et c'est intéressant que juste après ça, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, il rentre dans un grand débat philosophique.
But the actual realization is given by Krishna. It's when our hearts become humble, purified, and accepting you could say, our position, our actual Gopi Bharta Pada Kamalam, dasa, 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 honor, dasa, dasa, on and on and on.
Voilà, Krishna est venu nous faire réaliser cette humilité.
Service.
Il n'est pas là. Après, il donne la connaissance.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Kantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jai. The Saffron Monk ki jai. Walking your way, you walk. I mean, it won't be one step, but you're going to walk your way back to Godhead for sure.
Oh, thank you.
You're already there.
Blessing.
Thank you, Raj, for being here. I may not see you before we leave because I'm leaving now for the south of France.
You're leaving?
Yeah, I'm going south.
Which place?
Oh, we're going to different places in the south of France, all across here, there, and everywhere, right across the south. Oh, and then back up.
Corsica?
No, we're not that far. That's across the ocean. However, our dear godbrother, what's his name? Govardhan Puja is going there. He was supposed to go there last month, but he didn't. He's going next year, springtime, to Corsica. Go with him. Going there to do Sankirtan.
Just a little comment.